Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm on in Chock-a-Balloon. We've got longtime fools Matt Frankel and Jason Hall giving a 1 to 10 rating to one of the boring name companies that make machines for building semiconductors, Applied Materials, ticker symbol AMAT. We rate the strength of Applied Materials business first, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible. A 1 is hopeless. Matt's at an 8. Jason, you're at a 7.
The company that I shall refer to from here on out as Chippy McSemiconductor stuff was a 7 for me, mainly because versus the higher score for Matt, because it is a cyclical business. It has a services business that will help offset this, but equipment sales that's 3/4 of revenue. And it's also notable that there's softness in different end markets at different times. Like right now, softness in the memory market is weighing on the business. Caveat though, it's a cyclical business, so a 7 from me is actually pretty high.
Yeah, I gave it an 8, and for a few reasons. It makes things that some of the biggest chip makers in the world need. Its margins are fantastic. 48% gross margin, 23% net margin for a manufacturing business is pretty impressive. And it's a growing market. So those three things are kind of like a trifecta. The only reason that my score isn't higher is kind of what Jason said. It's a cyclical business. And especially when it comes to AI, there's a lot of concerns, valid concerns about AI investment over the next 5 years. And the chip making space in general is just likely to be volatile no matter what the economy's doing.
For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett, a 1 is Homer Simpson. Jason, both of you have 9s.
Yeah, and it's exceptional leadership starting from the top with Gary Dickerson. But also, if you look through the board, it is extremely tenured. I think they have one board member that's been there for less than 3 years. So when you have that continuity across the board and the performance of this business, there's usually some solid causation, not just correlation. But the board is also deeply connected across semiconductor and tech industries. As a result, it's delivered enormous value for investors by doing smart stuff. You grow the business, you fund and grow your dividend, and you're timely and smart about reducing the share count.
I'm glad someone other than me thinks board quality is important. Good job, Jason.
Hey, buddy.
So I gave it a 9 as well. Gary Dickerson, you can't really argue with the returns. I mean, when you have a longtime CEO, you really can judge stock performance when someone's been there for over a decade. He's delivered quadruple the S&P 500's total return since he started.
So I want to specify there, not 4x returns, but 4x the market that's done pretty darn well.
Yeah, the market, it's been a pretty good period for the market. A great job of evolving with the semiconductor space, and really, he had a lot more foresight than other CEOs when it came to really recognizing the AI revolution. And great capital allocator, both dividends and buybacks, really shareholder-friendly decisions.
For financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. Jason, you both agree with an 8.
Yeah, so you have a strong balance sheet, but the balance sheet got strong not because of an IPO where they got a bunch of cash. It's the high-quality operating results across the cycle. You generate really high cash margins. Again, that's funded dividend growth and continued share buybacks. But it's not a perfect moat, but they've operated the business in such a way that its financials make it really difficult to compete with.
Yeah, Jason just mentioned the net cash position, great margins, great capital allocator. The outstanding share count's down 10% in the past 3 years, which is rare for a tech play like this. And slow but steady revenue growth. It's pretty financially solid business.
All right, Matt, let's move on to valuation. I'm interested to see what you think Applied Materials will get, or what stock will do over the next 5 years, how safe it is. 10 is a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
Say 10 to 15% on the lower end of that range, though. And I gave it a safety score of 8. That leading market share is really impressive. Its margins give it a nice margin of safety. And so does that balance sheet. Great customer base. I mean, you really can't beat being a company that sells things that NVIDIA needs right now. So I give it an 8.
Yeah. So also 10 to 15%. Matt, I think it's on the higher end of that range, though. in part because the stock has come down, as we've seen pretty much every company that's exposed to the semiconductor space trades for close to 20 times free cash flow. Safety score, I give it a 7 here. Again, it's a cyclical business, but across the cycle, I think it can be relatively strong. My concern, again, thinking about like a 5-year window, is we look out 3 to 5 years from now and the current spending cycle. If we're coming off of that spending cycle, then there's not a zero chance of underperformance. There's a very low chance of losses, but again, it's not a zero chance. So a little bit lower ranking for me there.
Time for everyone's favorite. Matt, is there a company in applied materials space you like better?
No, Applied Materials is actually near the top of my buy list right now. I'm doing some spring cleaning in my portfolio, and it's one of the stocks that might make it in.
Yeah, a stock that I want to add to, and that by the time this goes live, it's possible I will have added to it between the time we're recording and this goes live. Looking at that picks and shovels industry, I would put ASML ahead of Applied Materials. Talk about two extremely important companies making the equipment needed to produce across, again, not even just the leading edge, but the workhorse machines in the industry. These are two of the leaders, but right now I put ASML a little bit ahead.
Thank you to both Jason and to Matt. They've given Applied Materials an excellent overall score of 7.9 out of 10, just short of that 8.0 that would force me to own shares. But
me and my insistence on scoring cyclical stocks a little bit lower on safety.
It kills Jason when we just get short of an 8. He wants to help me shop for stocks. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Something Good. Till then, Fool on. This is one we need the armchair CEO for just a new name. We need Dan Kaplinger in here giving us a new name for this bad boy.